Hi friends, it's Becky, and I have a little mini bundle madness to share with you today. These are little bundles that were put together by the folks at Bead Box Bargains. That's the sister store for the subscription Bargain Bead Box site, where you can find extras for the bead box, closeout gemstones, pendants, findings, check glass. It's actually a really great source for some really good beads. And they do specials. They will put together some beads into a little bundle like this and set a really good price on it, and each of these was $10. So last week they put together one of them. It sold out within, like, I don't know, an hour. So they put together a second one, and I have to admit that I bought both of them. Sometimes, very often, I refrain from purchasing a second bundle. Like if there's companion bundles, those are bits of beads that are meant to enhance the bargain bead box. These are not those. They're just random for fun bundles. I will, if I got one of them, I'll go ahead and not get the other ones, just so that it's there and available for other people to have. But I really liked both of these, so I got both of them. My sister got them too, and she already went through the list of all of the metals to figure out which was going to be nickel-free and which wasn't. So some of these are nickel-free, and I will actually be pulling them out and swapping with her. And she'll give me the things that are not nickel-free, and then we'll have our little things like that. But I am going to be organizing this into, because they're mini bundles, I can put both of them in the same little container, and we'll just go through and I'll share them with you. And then at the end of this, I will make myself a little pair of earrings, because I am doing a thing where I make a pair of earrings every day for the month of April. It's earrings every day. It's a challenge that I started a few years ago, just because I really love making earrings, and it's a lot of fun to do this. So one of these is the Southwest Skies. This one, I think. Yes, that's this one. The other bundle is labeled the Turquoise Gardens, and they were just little mini bundles. It was a special little thing that we got. I actually put a couple of extra things in my cart when I was buying it, mostly some findings, but they did include like some things that I thought might go with it, or just some of these extra filigree beads. Like these dragonflies, I think are going to go great with this. You'll see in a minute when we look through those. But these were not part of the bundle, but I thought they would go with it when I was purchasing it. So we've got several different items in here. We've got these little cactus charms. We've got some more of these moon charms, some links, some bead caps, another pendant, clasps, spacers, and then a few beads. So we'll start from the beginning, and I will get these in here. Alright, so we've got the bellflower bead caps. That's these guys right here. It's cap $3.25. So even though the bundle itself is sold out, many of the items that were in this bundle may still be available for purchase at Bead Box Bargains website. I know the pendants are, I just saw them. But these are our bead caps. Now these are not nickel free, so I will be hanging on to them. They're antique silver in color. Then we've got some Preciosa faceted bicone beads in Montana blue. These are 4mm beads, and we get a 3-gram bag in this bundle. After that, we've got our filigree teardrop beads. These are Alabaster Picasso with pebbled turquoise. The number on this is 7060. And these are also the ones where I got myself a second bag of these because I love them. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these in here with them together. After that, there were some additional, there we go. These 7061. These are a different color. They are Picasso with pebbled red. And I love that. I love that there's the this red contrast that we get next to our turquoise colors in this little bundle. I think it's pretty cool. All right, next in our bundle, we've got fluted glass melon beads. That's 7101. They are 8mm, and they are crystal blue swirl with a silver wash. And I think they actually just added melon beads to the site today as some new things that are available for purchase. And I believe these are some of them. I had a little peek at the site before I came on. Then we've got some Southwest style cactus charms with faux turquoise. This is silver color. It is 30 by 20mm. This is the back, and this is the front. And this is nickel free, so I'm actually going to be saving this out and giving this to my sister. She already got one of them in her bundle, and now she'll have two, and she'll be able to make some cactus earrings with them. It's find 2653 if you were looking for it. And I think it is actually still available. So I'm going to be setting that aside and not putting it in my organizer. Right, next we've got the filigree style pendant moon. Now a lot of this type of the pendant moon findings that we've seen at Bead Box Bargains, a lot of them are nickel free, but the antique silver one, which we've got right here, the regular silver one is nickel free. This one does not say that it's nickel free, so I'm going to be hanging on to this, and I will be making things with it. It is find 4292, and my sister is actually going to give me hers since she cannot use them. So maybe we'll do earrings with these. I'm going to set these aside until I've got things situated so I know where to put them in here. Then we've also got the filigree style links, and this is again in the antique silver color. They have different colors, metal colors, on the Bead Box Bargains site for this type of link. And the other metal colors are nickel free. This one does not say that it is. It is find 4294. So I will be keeping them as well. Then we've got some 2mm aquamarine finely faceted rounds. These are so tiny. This is a 15-inch strand, so there are so many of them, and like about a foot of excess thread that it is strung on. Now when I have really small beads, especially gemstone beads that are strung on string, I'll leave them on the string in my organizers, but I've always been really annoyed by the long pieces of thread. My sister suggested just cutting the long pieces of thread so that they're not sticking up and getting in the way, because she is a genius, certified. So I'm going to be putting this into the organizer like that and not getting frustrated at all the pieces of thread popping out because that was such a good little hack. All right, next I've got some faux turquoise. These are man-made round beads. They are 6mm, and this is a 14.5-inch strand. I am not a turquoise snob. I will take turquoise any way I can get it, whether it's man-made or real. It is just such a fun color, such a fun stone. There we go. Let's get these guys sorted. My organizer. And then we've got a 5-gram bag of pressed glass drukes. These are 4mm drukes, and they are Crystal Picasso with pebbled red. The number for this is 0924, and that is having a little bit of trouble. This is a nice earthy, like carnelian-y kind of a red. Very warm red. On that part, let's go ahead and stick that over here. We may be doing some roommate situations when I get the other one out here. That's totally fine. That is totally fine. And then for the rest of them, we have this imitation turquoise. This is a man-made turquoise fancy oval pendant in antique silver, and it's PENDT 3064. It is not nickel free. At least it does not say that it's nickel free on the listing on the website, so we're going to go ahead and put that one in there. And these other two are nickel free. We've got these daisy spacers, and it's SPC 1713. I'm going to be setting that aside with the other things that I'm going to be swapping with my sister for. And this square toggle is $8.50. It is not nickel free, so I'm going to be hanging on to that. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in there with these. So far, so fun. And that is the first bundle. That's our rounded square top clasp. Turquoise Gardens. The other one, the Southwest Skies, was in here. And you might think that this is the same pendant, but it's a totally separate listing on the website. So I think they have a different turquoise stone in it, and that's why they're different listings. So let's get these guys out, because we've got more beads, more findings, and more filigree drops in a different color. This is less turquoise and red and more towards like sky blue kind of a thing. So Southwest Skies is an appropriate name for this one. All right, so we've got some, hold on. Southwest Skies was the one that we just did. This one is Turquoise Gardens. All right, so we've got some crystal faceted bicone beads in matte jade sky blue. That's this one right here. It's crystal 3938. This is about a 10-inch strand. Let's get this up here. And isn't that a pretty blue? That is such a pretty blue. These are 6mm bicones, by the way. But yeah, I am going to have all of these together in the same organizer. And then we've got some pressed glass flower beads. It's these guys right here. They are opaque turquoise with marbled silver, and it's 7003 for the number on that. Gotta love those. After that, we've got some more pressed glass melon beads. This is Crystal Aqua Swirl with silver wash, 7097, and I think they did add these to the site today too. At least I saw them on there. So some of them are more crystal color, some of them are more aqua color, but they both have that silver wash. And I'm going to roommate situation them with my other melon beads. So I've got two different sizes of melon beads in that same section. Next I have the Turquoise Man-Made detailed oval pendant. It's not the fancy oval pendant, it's just the detailed oval pendant. And this is 36 by 26 millimeters, antique silver. Again, let me just pick up the other one so you can see that difference in the stone, and that's probably why they're different listings and different ones in each of these. So this was the one that came in the first bundle, and this is the one that came in the second bundle. There's just a little bit of a variation in the color on those stones. But they're man-made with resin and all sorts of things holding them together. And then we've got some mistletoe branch links. These may be familiar to you if you got, I think it was the November bargain bead box from last year. They are lead-free and cadmium-free, but they do not say that they are nickel-free, so I am hanging on to these. And the ones that my sister got, she's going to be giving to me as well, so I'm going to have more links. In fact, I think I might scooch these red beads over into the same section that these filigree drops are in, so that I have room in here for a few more types of items. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then after that, we've got some labradorite rounds. These are 4 millimeters. It is Gems 6048. It's a 15-inch strand. Let's get these guys up here. Turn it around. You can see some of the flash in that labradorite. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here with the other gemstones, so that they can hang out together. There you go. Packed in there. Blues, silvers, a little bit of reds, pops of reds. I love that. And then we've got Czech pressed glass bellflower cut flower beads. They are opaque, pale blue-green swirl. They are 4 by 6 millimeters in size, and it is a 5-gram bag. The number on this is 0973. Let's get up close so you can see some of that swirl. Some of them are a more light blue color, some of them are more sort of minty green, some of them are broken in half like that guy, which is totally okay. It's only one little bit that isn't a whole bead. The rest of them are just fine. I'm going to stick these in here with my little flower beads. I think that's a good place for them. And I do have several sections up here that I can be putting things in. Don't forget about those Becks. Next, we've got an oval pendant with the enamel center. This is PNDT 3098. We weren't able to find out if this was nickel-free or not, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it in my box. Maybe I'll actually make it, with, make earrings with it. If it turns out that it is nickel-free, I will swap it with my sister so she has these. because she's not going to be able to hang on to hers that are like this, so she's going to be giving them to me, which means I'm probably going to be doing a lot of things with some turquoise pendants. Maybe. But I'll go ahead and put them in here for now, since they're questionable. And turn the page on my packing list so that I can get to the rest of these. Alright, and I think the rest of the metal pieces here, hold on, because I don't want to forget about these Picasso beads either. Because these are 70.59 and they're a different color of Picasso of the teardrop beads than these ones from the other bundle. See, that one's more turquoisey and this is more like denim blue. Sort of a color, so it's Alabaster Picasso with pebbled blue. I think I might still have them hang out here with the other guys, just so that we've got them in one place. Yeah, I don't need to be doubling things up as much, do I? I can actually spread things out a little bit in here. Or maybe that's fine there. There we go. And then these are some 8mm pressed glass bicones. They're not crystal bicones. So they are that Lucerna bicone color in Montana blue. And that is 69.61. Let's get these guys over here. Now there were more spacers. We had these bumpy rondelle spacers. They're light antique silver. And these are nickel free, so I'm going to go set them over here with my things for my sister. And nickel free round spacer beads in antique silver. I'll set those over there. Sometimes it's hard to find spacers that are nickel free, so the fact that all of the spacers in these bundles were means it's just more stuff for her stash or something like that. But these toggles are also nickel free, so they're TOG 9.59. I've got a 25mm bar and a 20mm loop. And I'm going to stick them back in the bag so that I can swap with my sister. She's going to give me her extra toggle, and I'm going to give her these guys here. Set those aside because I need to make myself some earrings with these. So what am I going to make with them? About some bead caps. Oh yes. Let's put a little bead cap on here. One of the larger melon beads. And a connector. How about that? Let's do that. Grab the head pin to put this on. Oh, and I was going to say, these were not part of it either, these dragonflies with the blue in here, but when I was getting these, I saw these dragonflies listed. It's 70.57, by the way. And I thought that they would be a really good accompaniment for some of these. So this is this red alabaster, or the red with like a travertine finish and then a blue wash. Really, really cool. And where am I going to put them? Here we go. Stick them in there. That'll work. Yeah. So that was not part of the bundle, but you know, sometimes you see things on the site and you're like, oh, that will go with the thing that I'm already purchasing. That'll be really nice. Should I add some red? I think I'm going to just grab a couple of dots of red in here. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So we've got those. We've got a melon. Are these the little melons? Yes, they are the little melons. And one of these connectors. All right, I need head pins and beading wire. Alright, these are going to be pretty jangly, pretty dangly. And I've just got some head pins to put that on. It's pretty easy to straighten out these bendy head pins just with your fingers. Let me grab some tools. I have some flush cutters, some round nose pliers, and a chain nose plier right here. I am going to need some ear wires too. Don't know that I have any in easy reach, so I can just make some after we do this. I've got some 22 gauge wire here that I can pull off for some ear wires. So we'll make ear wires at the end of this. I'll show you how to do that. And for now, let's make a drop or two. I'm going to start with this drop. I'm going to pop this little bead cap on top and the melon bead right there. And then using my round nose pliers, I'm going to make a little loop. It's going to be a wrapped loop. So I'm going to tip my pliers. I'm holding it right here, and I'm just going to tip it over. And then push this around that side. Roll this around. Grab my chain nose pliers. Oop. And just start wrapping this wire around like that. Snip my excess wire. There's a little bit of a pokey outy bit, so I'm just going to tuck that in with my chain nose pliers. Make sure my loop is good. Now I've got my little drop. I'll go ahead and do the second one too while I'm here. I'll do these both earrings together. Because it's fun. Once again, tip over the top. You want to open the jaws of your pliers and rotate them. And then keep the wire going all the way around. I'll usually use my finger if it's craft wire to push my wire around, but this is a little bit stiffer than craft wire, and so it hurts my fingers a little bit to do that. And so using a set of pliers to move the wire around works really well for me for that. Works a little bit better than doing it the other way. There we go. Now I've got 2 drops like that. I'm going to make a link. I'm using 20 gauge wire, so I'm just going to use simple loops for this one. And I like to make my simple loops with the beads on the wire so that I don't have to guess how long I need to cut it. That hole was a little bit tight, so I'm just grabbing a different bead to put on here on my 20mm wire. So I'm going to put both of these on since I'm going to do both links at the same time. You don't have to stop what I'm doing and do some more stringing. Alright, I'm going to start with a loop here on the end. It's already flush cut on the end of that. It's about 1/3 of the way down the barrel. I've got it sort of nestled in there. Just going to start turning that until the end of my wire meets the straight part. Then with this still on here, I'm going to press my barrel right below where it meets and give it a little twist back. And that will center my loop. You can use some other pliers to smush that flat, maybe even give it a better shape if you want to. But that gives me my first loop. After I've got my first loop, I'll push my beads up to just under it, and then I'll measure 1 finger width down from the bottom of that bead. That's how I make sure I don't like waste too much wire. And the 1 finger width is really, it's a little bit more than I need, but I'd rather have a little bit more than not enough for this part. So now I'm going to take my little link here, and I'm going to hold on to the bottom of it and the beads. And you can use another set of pliers to do this little bend part that I'm going to do, or you can just use your finger if the wire is soft enough, just to bend that over the top. I will measure this part. I measure with my finger, but you can use a measuring tool to measure 1 centimeter from that bend and snip off that excess. And then use your round nose pliers, again, gripping right there next to the cut. You don't have to grip very hard. And then rolling that back so that I've got a little link. Now, since it is a simple loop, so it's not closed, I can swing it open like this, like it's a jump ring, and attach the dangle that I just created. And I could attach my ear wire to just this, or I can make it even longer by attaching this to this connector. And then I can attach my ear wire to the connector and have it be even longer. So let's put these two together. Since I've got my second link that I want to make, I'm going to start with my first loop and then bend this back. Give it a healthy smush. It helps to work harden the wire when you give it a little smush like this so that it maintains its shape. And then 1 finger width down. Remember to snip the wire, not your finger. then I'll hold on to the beads, bend this over, and measure it. Again, I measure with my finger, but you could use a measuring tool for that 1 centimeter. Give this a roll back up. And then open and close the loops. Alright, let's make some ear wires. I can do some shallow ones with just my round nose pliers, or I can do some deeper ones with my 6-step bail making pliers. Let's do the round nose pliers ones today. Alright, so I've got 2 lengths of wire. These are about 2.5 to 3 inches in length. I'm just trying to straighten them out a little bit. Just a little bit, get the kinks out. I want to make sure that the ends are cut flush. And then I'm going to make a little loop here at the end, and it's about maybe 1/4 of the way down the barrel that I'm going to do this loop. And instead of bending it back, I'm going to leave it leaning towards one side. So I don't want this loop to be centered. I want it to be pointing in one direction. I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to find the fattest part of my barrel here, and I'm going to point this loop away from the part that I'm going to wrap around. So it's pointing away from there, so I'm going to wrap around this one and just bring this around here. Not all the way around. I'm going to leave a little bit of space there between that loop and the rest of it. Let's do this one too. So we're pointing away. Bring this around the barrel. Leave a little bit of room. And at the spot on this other side that's about the same way down from the top curve as these 2 loops, I use my pliers. See, so it's about the same place. I like to put my fingernail behind it to give it some support when I bend it. That helps the loops not change size or shape while I'm doing that. And then about 1/4 of an inch, well no, half a centimeter maybe, away from there, maybe 1/4 centimeter away from that bend. I'm going to snip it again with my flush cutters. And sometimes there will be a little bit of a rough edge after you do that, even though you've cut it flush. So when that happens, you're going to want a metal file or a burr cup to go ahead and get that. You know, I've realized that I just usually don't put a link to these metal files that I use all the time in my description like I do with my organizers or like I do with my tool sets. So I'm going to include those in this one as well. So now I've got my ear wires. I'm going to do one last thing too. I want to work hard in my ear wires, so I'm just going to use my flat nose pliers. You can use chain nose pliers as well, but you want to get it into something nice and flat. Give it a smush or use a bench block and hammer to hammer it out a little bit. It just makes it so that it'll maintain its shape a little bit better. And this was 22 gauge wire that I used, by the way, for this. And now I've got my little ear wires. I can open that loop. It's a simple loop. Put the rest of the earring on it. There we go. So this is my earrings every day for today, the 14th of April. I have made 14 earrings so far this month. Some of them have been during unboxings like this one. Some of them have been standalone. Some of them have been accompanying a necklace design that I've already been doing or something like that. I have a playlist with all of the projects that I've done with included earrings. I'll link that in the description as well. I'll also link to Bead Box Bargains, where I got these bundles, because you never know when they're gonna come up with another bundle. It's always worth it to check them out because they do actually have really, really good deals on beads and findings, and they are really very good about labeling a lot of the metals so that you know whether they are nickel free or not. So these are the ones I'm going to be swapping with my sister to get, and then she's going to send me hers, or she's going to hand me when I see her ones that aren't nickel free as well. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing, and until next time, happy beading.